Mike Phillips, you're quite an important person in the cat world of New York City. I'm so
Well,
sorry I never met you before, but you're like the man, aren't you?
yeah, I'm a little bit of a hermit. I don't reach out. Somebody approached me in LA. A producer wanted to do a TV show and wanted to follow me doing rescues and doing stuff. And I had just come off a job at the ASPCA. They used to have that show called Animal Precinct.
Yes.
There was a terrible fiasco while I was working there. The precinct people got to the site of this rescue, and there were these really hungry dogs that were chained up behind a fence. And before the ASPCA rescue team could get there, the filmmakers decided they would give the dogs some food because they were so skinny and so hungry. And they attacked each other, and one dog killed the other dog.
Oh my God.
And I had that so fresh in my mind, and I like to work so lean and mean.
Yeah.
A lot of times I just go by myself without even one helper.
Yes.
You quiet, you see the lay of the land, you get the cat, you set the trap, boom, it's done. If you're waiting for a filmmaker or a team, it's just... And so I just said no. And that was before Jackson Galaxy. That was before anything.
Yeah.
And I'm 72 years old now, so I don't think anybody's going to approach me for a gig.
I disagree. I think we aged people we're like good aged wine. I really do believe that. You've walked the walk, you've talked the talk. You're out there doing this work and have done it for decades. The Urban Cat League was your invention. You're the founder of it, right?
I'm a co-founder. A group of neighbors, we met each other next to a cyclone fence on 38th Street and 9th Avenue in New York plus years ago, when it was pretty dicey living in Hell's Kitchen. Now it's quite glamorous with the Hudson Yards, and there's all these high-rise apartments are renting for $10,000 a month. It's just, where are we? Back then, there were a lot of vacant lots, a lot of feral cats, and a group of us just decided to see what we could do. And I called up Alley Cat Allies way back in 1999, and the phone answered, "Hello, this is Becky Robinson, or how may I help you?"
That's
Becky
right.
Robinson I don't think she was answering the phones much after that. That's a huge organization now at this point. And she's not even with them anymore, so that's how long ago that was. But we taught ourselves how to trap, and we gravitated towards socializing feral kittens for adoption. That sort of became our niche and our specialty. I started a workshop to train others to do TNR with Ruth Sharp and Brian Cordes, who went on, and they are still carrying that banner, Urban Cat League, teaching. Every month they teach people how to do trap, neuter, return. They probably taught thousands and thousands of people all around the world, because you can do it on the internet. When we started, there weren't cell phones, there wasn't Wi-Fi, there wasn't email.
Right.
If you climbed a fence and you were somewhere trapping a cat up in Harlem and you forgot the can of tuna, you were out of luck. You can't phone in a friend, call in a friend. Could you throw a can of tuna over the fence? I don't even see a deli. I don't even know where I'm going to go. That's, I think, how we discovered Kentucky fried chicken is a really good bait for traps.
Oh, that's so funny. Mike, these stories are marvelous because they remind us that these cats have needed humans to help them for so long. And yes, the areas where they used to live have now become gentrified. And there may be fewer cats because you and the ASPCA and New York Animal Care and Control, which I know it's not called that anymore, but I still call it that, they do an amazing job. So many of you volunteers are the backbone of it. But the cats are really no different. They're still just cats who don't have a safe place to live, and they're procreating, which is out of their control until we help with TNR. Do you see you must see a shift, a change, an improvement, something to keep your spirits up?
Here in Hell's Kitchen, we proved that TNR does work, even when there were still vacant lots and the cats could have been creating community cat colonies. We got to 100% spay-neuter with all of the feral cats in Hell's Kitchen. We spayed and neutered about 200 cats, and then for 17 years at the Hudson Yards, we had a couple other large colonies, but there were over 100 cats at the Hudson Yards that we fed and sheltered for 17 years. And then we kept being threatened. Hudson Yards moving in,
Yeah.
Hudson Yards
Yeah.
moving in. When Tishman Spires finally took possession of that piece of property where our feeding station was on the edge of the rail, going down to the railroad tracks, there were only 6 cats left at that point in time.
No kidding.
And so we were able to relocate those cats, and that was a happy ending. And then another large colony uptown on 48th Street on the railroad tracks. That piece of property they built over the railroad tracks, and so there would have been no more access. But we had gotten that colony to 100% spay neuter. Knock on touch anything.
Right.
I haven't seen kittens in almost 10 years, a litter of kittens born on the street in Hell's Kitchen. It may happen in a backyard and we don't hear about it, and hopefully someone deals with it. We've taught so many people, if everybody would just do their own backyard, they would only have to do one TNR project in their entire lifetime.
That's right. That's right.
But unfortunately, there's people like myself who are aging out, but other young people that are just going from project to project. For other people that don't have the wherewithal for whatever reason. And a spay in Hell's Kitchen now is $1,250.
Are you kidding me?
Well, the corporate vets, you're required to do a visit. And then visit. Then you come back if they want to do vaccinations, whatever. Then you schedule the spay. By the time you get done, and then the spay itself is $1,250. $800 for a male neuter takes 5 minutes. Back in the day when I was working on the spay neuter trucks for the ASPCA, I'm a veterinary technician. We would do the neuters. It wasn't it. They'd be horrified to know that, but we did it for years, and then suddenly they found out, and no, vets have to do this. A vet has to do a rabies vaccination. It's literally poke, boom. There's a legal responsibility, of course.
Yeah.
But a male neuter, if you had the sedation to knock them out, you could do it sterilely on your kitchen table. It takes about 5 minutes, and they're charging $800. So hopefully the law will change, allowing vet techs under the supervision of a vet to do neuters. We could go through hundreds of more animals a day. But these high volume spay neuter veterinarians, they're doing a spay in 6 minutes. The techs can hardly keep up to get the cat shaved and prepped and ready and intubated.
And
boom, on the table. The vet's sitting there tapping her foot, waiting for them to get another cat on the table. And so we're scrambling left and right. So there's a lot of room for improvement, but the means are there. The veterinarians that are being trained, and Community Cat Central used to be the Community Cats podcast. Stacy LeBaron, she's sponsoring these wet labs where they're teaching vets in these techniques for high volume spay neuter. So it's all out there. It's just the rest of the world has to come up to speed.
Yeah.
We still have vets saying, oh, you shouldn't spay a cat before 6 months or whatever.
And that's when you have to do it.
They could get pregnant.
4 or 5.
They could get pregnant at 4 months, logistically. It doesn't happen a lot, but it could happen. And we're doing kittens at 8 weeks. Dr. Mackey, who was on the frontier of pediatric spay neuter in California, he had a practice. And he had this terrific relationship with rescuers that he trusted. You could come in the middle of the night. He had a lock-off room in his vet clinic. You could put 6 traps on the shelves there with a note. Neuter this one, ear tip, don't ear tip this one. Or this one has a rabies vaccination and this one doesn't. He would just let you have the keys. So you could have a life. You could go to dinner, do your trapping. When I first moved to California, I was out there for 4 years. My friend Evelyn called. She said, let's go to dinner. I said, oh, I have a cat in a trap. She said, yes, so what? I'll meet you at Dr. Mackey's and then we'll go to dinner.
Oh.
And I went, oh, because she was one of the people with the key. And he would keep the cats for $5 a day for the recovery period for 2 days. And you could literally be a rescuer and a cat would never enter your house. Nowadays,
which is really important because otherwise the burden is so heavy on volunteers, which, as you said, people don't have the wherewithal. Maybe they don't have the ability or the space, especially in a city, to bring the cats in a big trap into the house and wait until X vet clinic opens. As you said earlier.
Isn't that what bathtubs are for?
Oh, is that why people have a bathtub? I knew there was some reason.
You can stack 4 traps in a bathtub.
See?
Pity the cat on the bottom.
Well, you mentioned earlier about corporate vet clinics and how the prices for everybody, even for owned cats, have gone through the roof. Does the city of New York and ASPCA still not have a way to offer these low-cost spay neuters like you used to do in the van?
No, the city doesn't even have their own spay neuter service. They use the ASPCA. And the thing with that is the ASPCA is the only source of low-cost spay neuter to the public. So not only does the public not have enough, but the city's taking away the capacity of the ASPCA because the city's taxing the capacity of the ASPCA also. So they're not only helping, they're cannibalizing the little bit of spay neuter that is available.
It is distressing because we don't really want to think of sociopolitics, if you will, interfering with a system that you and your colleagues have made work for so long. And now it shrinks it down. Well, thank God you were so successful. 100% success. Stacey LeBaron's been on this show many times, and she's incredible. She is the educator and always about bringing everybody together.
She is the queen on so many levels.
Yes, yes. I'm so glad that she and you and others, because she's up in Vermont where I am, so I always think of her as being so distant from the rest of the world. But the miracle of the internet and her podcast.
She and I have done several things together with workshops and online things. And somebody said, you two are like a house on fire once you two start talking.
Nice. One of the things that I was really excited about when Sheila from Hard Hat Cats told me about the Urban Cat League was you sent me a clip of a YouTube film made a number of years ago by one of your, I'm going to call you guys a team.
Kathy Newcomb, she was one of the founders of Urban Cat League. Okay. And she just decided to bring a camera down one day when we were going down to the World Trade Center pit after the disaster, rescuing cats down there. Thank God she did, because we just said this yesterday. I was talking to her, and we had no idea how important that footage would be years and years later. It's like, what was his name, the photographer during the Civil War? He said, oh, here's today, this is what I'm shooting today, the Civil War. He didn't imagine that 200 years later, 100 years later, it would be such valuable documentation.
Yours is valuable because it really touched my heart. I've asked Kathy to quickly get it to me. We'll collaborate, and it will be in the 9th annual New York Cat Film Festival, which is September 26th at the Village East Theater. It's important that people see the work you've done, for how long you've done it. It is so intensely New York. But the fact that it was a week after the Trade Center, and we see you and others with these traps covered with cloth amongst the hard hat workers, all of you breathing what we've now come to know was such toxic air, but you were so laser focus, Mike, on, I think there was a black cat. Nope, we got the big black cat. Where's that skinny black cat? You were in crawl spaces. You were in buildings that had come down and there was some little floor left. It's so deeply touching that you guys just walked into that, as you said, not thinking, how will this affect me in 10 years if I breathe whatever it is I'm breathing? You're just like, there's cats to save.
Yeah, we were told at the time by Christy Whitman that they tested the air and it was fine, but we all found out, both Kath and I found out years later that it wasn't. But
you also made a sanctuary. The sanctuary you made at the time, this makeshift sanctuary, oh, it gladdened my heart. You guys just invented the idea, we're going to get some pieces of chain link, we're going to make a sanctuary, and you say the sweetest thing in the film, Mike. It made me just love you. You said, luckily they're happy here. Because if they weren't happy here, we would have to do something else for them. It's very touching.
And that was a handshake deal. We spoke to a woman on a handshake deal. She let us use that vacant lot for 10 years, and then she sold it for $6 million. So we said it was the most expensive cat sanctuary in the world.
And at that point, you didn't need the sanctuary anymore, right? The cats had all aged out or been adopted?
They had all aged out, and we had adopted the ones that had. And then we actually, we've been fortunate with placement of cats. It would be great if every group had it's like our Gretchen Pack, who was also one of, she called it the staging area. She's younger. She's much more practical about it. This is the staging area. We need this so that we can do triage and sort and fix cats and show people for adoption and kittens, and that served us very well, that space. I wish every group had a small space like that.
You guys invented it out of whole cloth. You invented that space could exist, and then you made it into something. And I just want to say in closing, anyone in New York City interested in the cats you may not see, but they are there, please get in touch with the Urban Cat League. They need your support, whether it's monetary or spiritual or in person. And Mike and his cohorts are really the feline angels out there, and you have been for so long. I'm very excited to have the movie about you and the group in the film festival. Of course, I'll want you to come as my guest. And any of your others of your colleagues who've been had your boots on the ground for so long, we'll talk. But I'll have a VIP list. It'll basically be the Urban Cat League and a few people from Hard Hat Cats, because you guys are really a beacon of light in not necessarily darkness, but in a kind of chaos. So thank you for all you've done and are continuing to do. It's very inspiring.
Well, thank you so much for recognizing our efforts. We did it for the cats, but it's always nice to get a pat on the back. Thank you.
Everybody out there who loves cats loves you for that, as I do. Thank you, and I look forward to meeting you in person, hermit or not, recluse or not. You can sneak into the theater in the back, and I won't make too big a fuss over you, okay?
There you go. Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.